In 2024, 46,900 Kiwis moved from New Zealand to Australia. That's 53% of all New Zealand departures going to Australia, and 84% of those are Kiwi citizens. Over the last 10 years, the average was probably closer to 30,000 per annum. So we've seen a huge spike in departures from New Zealand, with people choosing to move to Australia, looking for greener pastures. Now, the large Kiwi migrations that occurred back in the 70s and the 80s, most of those Kiwis chose not to buy a home, with the belief that their time in Australia was going to be temporary, short-lived, and that they were going to move back home. In the 70s and 80s, if you look at it, in Sydney specifically, most Kiwis lived in suburbs like Bondi, Kensington, Maroubra, King's Cross, and on the northern beaches, areas like Manly. Things have changed. In 2025, they've realised that owning property in Australia is a smart thing to do. They've realised that the move to Australia is probably not going to be as temporary as what they realise, and it's smarter for them to buy a home, buy a property, and that way they can build wealth through property. Whereas back in the 70s and 80s, they missed the wealth creation boat, because as property prices went up, the Kiwis who lived in Sydney and Australia, throughout Australia, they were predominantly renters. So they completely missed the wealth creation boat through property over those years. But in 2025, the desires for Kiwis is to be smarter, to own property, and to buy property here in Australia. Now, the great news is it's never been easier for Kiwis to buy property in Australia. Why? Because Kiwis now get access to the government grants and incentives that are available to Australian first homeowners. What this means from a practical sense, buy property in Sydney, you can get in for as little as $33,000, and up in Brizzy, you can get in for as little as $37,500. So these numbers make home ownership far more achievable and accessible for Kiwis who come to Australia, work hard, get good paying jobs, but previously have not built wealth because they've chosen actively to stay as renters in Australia. So for all of you Kiwis who are looking to do the smart thing, who are looking to buy property in Australia, let's keep talking.
Oh shit, shake that ass, my movie like you dipshit. Stop,